down here, this area here. But the Aborigines, before the white man came, they lived all over Australia, down into Tasmania as well. But now, with the white man moving in, they don't live the traditional lifestyle in most places anymore. But up here, in this part here, that's where they live, and they still live the traditional lifestyle. And the city of Darwin is here, and about 300 miles from Darwin is Arnhem Land, which is Aboriginal land. And there's only Aborigines there. There's no power poles. There's one town that has street lights, then, and it's the size of Kentucky. It's just Aboriginal land, it's native land. And they still live up there in their tribes. And I became friends with one tribe called the Kunwinku people. Thank you, that's good. There's Arnhem Land, this black part. There. That's the size of Kentucky. And that's Aboriginal land, so you just can't drive on there and go there. You usually have to apply to the government, or once a year they have an open weekend and you can go along and they have celebrations and play football and show you how they cook their food, which is not very... They generally just throw the animal on the fire and turn him over and wait till it's cooked that way, and then they just eat him like that. And they leave the fur on, stomach inside, and throw it on, and then they just pick the meat out that's good to eat. That's how they live. And they spear them, of course. So one of them said he would paint for me, and then he did, but then he told all his family, and they started to paint for me as well. And I've got some photographs where we're up on the mountain range. I might pass them around. And there's photographs of the paintings on the wall, on the rock caves. And some of those are thousands and thousands of years old. And you can go around through Arnhem Land and you discover these caves. They've discovered about 7,000 caves that they've kept on record where there's evidence of Aboriginal art. But they estimate there's about another 15,000 that they haven't yet discovered there. So if you like, you can have a look through there, pass that around. We'll pass this around as well. That's some other pictures here. Actually, that's the best one for the moment. Well, in fact, you can have a look. Pass those around. I'll just show you, I'll flick through the pictures and have a look. There are some of these guys who have been painting for me. And there they are in the groups. They used to paint only on rock walls, caves, inside caves, and also they take the bark off a tree and they smoke that and stretch it over a fire, and then they paint on the bark. So they paint on rock walls and on bark.
But for this project, they painted on paper.
And today, for the art galleries, they paint on a special paper, which is 100% cotton. It's called Archer's paper. And they use modern painting oils as well. So that's what they paint today when they go into the city to paint. And some of these have travelled around the world painting. And their pictures are in galleries around the world, including the US. And their fathers' paintings are in the National Gallery of Australia. And here's a photograph of them taking the bark off a tree. And then they stretch, once they take that bark off the tree, they stretch it out like that with sticks and smoke it over a fire so it lays flat. And then they paint on the bark as well. See that? So they paint, traditionally they paint on bark and on cave walls, rock walls. But only in the last 20 or 30 years have they started to paint on canvas or special paper that I've brought as well. So for thousands of years, that's how they painted. And now in the last 20 or 30 years, the art galleries have asked them to paint so they can exhibit them in different places and move them around. You can't move a rock wall around, so they had to get them to paint on something else. Okay? So just have a look through some of those. Each time they do a painting, they don't sign it like a traditional artist does. They just pose with the photograph, and that says that they were the artist. And that's how they do it there.
So they don't sign their
No,
paintings?
no, they don't sign them.
Oh.
And of course that can lead to a bit of controversy.
Mm-hmm.
And it has on occasion, because there are some Aboriginal paintings now that have been sold for $1 million, of course. And it can be, it can cause a problem. I can recognise all of these, and I can recognise the style. My collection has 10 different artists, all from the same family, whether they're brothers or sisters or cousins. That's a good photograph there. We'll keep that in a moment, because I will need to look at that. So, and we'll talk about the things that they paint and what, because there are stories behind what they paint as well. Because these people have a lot of, they don't go to church on Sunday like some of us do. They have their own beliefs, and their main belief is called the dream time. And that comes about because they've lived so long in the same place. For thousands of years, the stories have come through, and they've passed them down by word of mouth. Now, I might, they paint traditionally also. They paint in 4 colours: black and white, and red and yellow, and that's all, these people. And they get those colours from the different coloured rocks, and they grind those rocks down and they add water to them, and even maybe egg from a bird or something like that, and they call that ochre. And they paint with that traditionally. That's the colours, and that's where those colours come from the rocks. And they use sticks, or they'll chew the end of a stick to colour the dark area in black. But then for the fine lines, they get a little reed and they cut it and they make it very, very fine, and they paint those lines with that. And I've got a picture here of one of the guys. This guy's name was Alex, and he has painted a lot for me. This is a picture of Alex here, and that's a picture of Alex there as well, pointing out his father's painting on the wall, on the rock wall. And his father's paintings are in the National Gallery in Australia. And he's a very famous artist. And there's a picture of Alex over here with one of these reeds, painting techniques. Now there's Alex again, and he's holding the little reed in his hand. And that's how he paints the fine lines. So we're going to use, we have to use a brush today, so we're going to use a very fine brush for the first time. So we're going to see if it works. We don't have a lot of time, but maybe after I leave today you can practice more as well. So we're going to use a fine brush for that. That photograph just there, this is up in their country, and that's their art centre. It's called Injalak. And if I can get more people interested in the US in that, we'll make some direct connections to Injalak. Now, are you ready to have a look at the real thing? I brought along 6 or 8 small ones, because I've got some bigger ones as well. And they painted animals. Right, before we do, who knows some Australian animals? Very good. Koala. A kangaroo. He's a famous Australian animal. So is a koala. What else? Do you know an Australian animal? Very good. You've been having a prep class. Fantastic. Now the magpie goose, he's a beautiful bird, and they fly in flocks. Everybody eats the magpie goose, even European people up there. The meat is beautiful. I taught at a country school up there, and one boy bought me a magpie goose breast in one day to take home to eat. They hunt them. What else? What other Australian animal?
Crocodiles.
Very good. Crocodile. They're like an alligator, but they're different. Yeah, a goanna. What's a goanna? Yes, it's a big lizard too. It can be, well, you know, if you go up there, they're running across the road everywhere, like about this big, or you go into the park where you see squirrels here, you see goannas up there, lizards in the park. And they're running around, and they don't bite, they run just as fast as a squirrel. They run up the tree like a squirrel. And that's what we have, that's what we're used to in our parks in the top of Australia. Lizards running around in the park and not squirrels, all right? A bit unusual. Who else? What's your name? Kiana. Do you know any other Australian animals? Kiana? Barramundi fish, okay. Very good. Well, I'll show you some pictures of those. And there's one more. Well, what's this? I beg your pardon?
A tortoise.
Exactly, a tortoise. And that's a picture of a tortoise that they drew. All right. Now the red, that means, that's supposed to mean the rock wall, the cave wall. And that's the tortoise. You see his 4 legs, his head and his tail, and his back. What do you think is this? Yes, it's reeds in the water. And they're reeds, and that's the root of the reed down here in the ground. So we're going to think about doing a painting like that, whether you want to use a tortoise or... We'll use an Australian animal today if we can, but there's no reason to stop you in the future painting a raccoon in an Aboriginal style if you like. No one says you're not allowed to. All right, so there's one. Put him there. Now, here's another one. What do you think? What's that? There's 2 animals there. Yes, a snake. Exactly, that's a magpie goose. Right. On the rock wall. And this is a more complicated one, but we can see what it is. What have we got? Yeah, a kangaroo.
Teachers and students, please pardon this interruption. Once again, teachers and students, please pardon this interruption. If you are a student in Miss Discepolli's 4th hour art class, all of those students need to report at 4th period to Miss Chapman's classroom. Once again, all students who are in Miss Discepolli's 4th hour art class, please report to Miss Chapman's classroom.
Good thing
Thank
you're
you and
listening.
pardon the interruption.
That was for us, wasn't it? Now, what have we got here? What's this animal? A kangaroo. Now, what do you think this is? A person. So it's an Aboriginal person. And what's that? That white line. What do you imagine that might be? Very good. It's a spear, and that's a tool that he holds in his hand to put the spear in. What do you think he's going to do with the spear? Exactly right. He's going to spear that kangaroo, and then he's going to kill him, and then he'll take him home on his shoulder, walk through the jungle barefoot, and they'll light a fire, and he just throws him on the fire. That's all. And he burns all the hair, the fur off him, doesn't bother about the insides, and rolls it around until it's cooked. And and then they pull it out and they might break the tail off and the legs off and pick the bits out that's good. And that's, what do you think that is? There, what do you think that one is?
It might be like a pot or a quiver.
Or a what?
A quiver or a pot or something.
Yes, actually it's a good idea. We can call it a dilly bag as well. A dilly bag. A bit like I've brought here a bag with me. I carry a bag wherever I go here because I don't have a car. So I have to keep all the things I want, but I need my mobile phone and my wallet. Not like the Aborigines, but in their dilly bag, they carried, you know, maybe some spears or some stones or even a bit of food or some grass or something like that. Now that's another good painting. That guy who painted that, he's a really good painter. And here's another one. That's a goanna. All right. So there's the animal. What's this? The ground. And so what's that? Yes, 2 plants. All right. So that's the goanna with 2 plants. And we'll just keep getting some more out, and then we'll have a look at something else. All right. See that? What have we got here? A fish with, what else is there? What's this again? Plants in the water. These are called water lilies. Okay? Now if you go, I've got photographs there of the water. If you go down to the water, you don't go too close. On the top of the water you'll see all those big round leaves just floating there. They're the water lilies. And they have stalks that come down into the mud where that is. And that's where that's connected into the mud. And the fish is in there. But there's more than fish. And they walk around in the water up to their chest, feeling with their feet. And they'll feel a turtle. And they reach down and they grab him by the neck and they bring him up like that. That's how they catch the turtle. But often there's other things in the water too, including file snakes. In fact, this is a snake, but it's called a file snake. And he lives in the water. This one's not poisonous, but some of them are. And of course, there's the crocodile who lives in the water as well. And he's not fussy. He eats children and adults. And every year, like in America, where a shark will get somebody in the ocean, and they do in Australia, every year, a crocodile will get at least one person. And he, you know, just this year, I know that a crocodile has eaten one Aboriginal boy, and he also pulled a man out of his boat who was fishing in the river. He was washing his bucket in the water like that, and his wife and his son were on the edge of the bank watching, and the crocodile just got him and took him out of the boat. And by the time that the family panicked and got to the police, it took them an hour, and they came back. They're used to, they're experienced in that. They're up the river in the boat, and they believe they know where they can find the crocodile who did it. And sure enough, they found 2 really, really big crocodiles, and they shot them, and they opened one up, and there was the body parts of this man inside him. All right? So they don't mess around, these crocodiles, and they're big. I'll show you how big they can be. So 4 yards, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5. They can be here to that wall long, the big ones. And they can be that wide, big. I've held little ones because they have crocodile farms up there too, where they keep their skin for purses and shoes around the world, and it's very expensive. Now, there's 2 kinds of fish. That could be called a Saratoga or a barramundi, but that's a fish in the water. And we're going to have a close look at this one pretty soon, after I show you the rest. Okay, we have another special animal. He lives all across Australia. I even have them on my little farm too. what do you think this one is? That's right. An anteater is probably the international word for them. We have the name we have is echidna. 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 Now this fella is under the ground. See that? That's the ground. He's under the ground. There's some plants. He's dug a hole under the ground. They're very good diggers, echidnas. And they're covered in spikes. And if you find one, he'll just stop, curl up, and there's no way you can get near him. You can't roll him over with your boot. You can stand on him if you like. It's just solid prickles. And no animal can get him. He's a very smart little animal, this fella, and they're beautiful. And they don't do anybody any harm, and they protect themselves with really long, sharp spikes. And foxes and other animals and dingoes, they can't get them. He just curls up until they give in. They go, no, can't beat this guy. And when they go, he wakes up again. Now, what do you think these are? Eh?
Ants.
Ants, exactly. So he's down under the ground eating ants. That's the echidna.
Are they really cute little babies?
Yes, they are really cute when they're babies. Like all little animals are cute when they're babies, but they're beautiful. And sometimes a car might run over one, that will kill him. But they'll find little babies like in their pouch. Now there's another simple one as well. That's a water bird with the reeds near him. Excuse me. And there's another one of two fish that one of the guys had painted as well. All right. Now I have a good collection which we're going to have exhibited in Richmond eventually, and I've got a lot of them that are much bigger than that. They're about this high. They tell lots of different stories, but I picked out ones today with just the animals. And we need to keep our eye on the clock too, I suppose.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not the right time, I'm sure.
It's actually on Atlantic time, so the minute hand is correct. But
Yes.
the hour hand is
Very
not.
good. All right, so it's 5 to 11. Well, we better get in to do some painting. What I think we should do is we'll have a look at this. I'll put these over on this table for you. You can all come and have a look whenever you feel like it. But we're going to have a look at this fish one. Because I think I'd like you to all get some paper in a moment with either the red background or a yellow background, and we'll make out that that's the colour of the cave wall. Then I would like you to think of painting, think of an animal that you could like to try drawing. We're not going to have a lot of time to get this done. But what I meant to say too is that have a look at these fine lines. First of all, you've got the red background. Then that's good. I'm glad you left that open. Then he paints the animal or whatever it is in black. See that? So we're going to do exactly what these guys are doing here. We're going to start off with the coloured background, and then with black I'm going to ask you guys to paint an animal. We don't want eyes and mouth or anything like that, just a silhouette such as the black animal. Then once you do that, we're going to get the white brush and we're going to paint around the outside edge of your animal. Alright, so we're going to try this out. And then eventually the last thing we're going to do is draw these very fine lines, and they draw it with this reed that he's got here. But we're going to try it with a very fine brush today. And where they cross like that, that's a special word called raark, R-A-A-R-K, raark, or cross hatching. And when we do our animal, or whether it be a fish, we'll think of an easy one. Then we might even put some reeds, but we'll see how we go if we've got time. Now, what you need to do, however, is think about an animal that you think that you can draw. Now, there's a fish. That could be easy to draw using a black brush over the top of that. So we could draw a fish, or don't look at the reeds for the moment. You could draw a fish, or you could draw a turtle with the round body and the neck and the head and the legs, the 4 legs and a tail. Don't worry about the reeds. You could draw a turtle, you could draw a fish, you could draw a goanna. Ignore the ground and the tree, just look at the goanna. Or you could draw a snake. Snake might be easy to do. You don't have to draw 2 animals, you could draw 1 or 2. One snake or the bird. Understand what I'm saying? Right. Who's got an idea of what they'd like to draw? What's your name?
Corey.
Corey, please. What would you like to draw, Corey?
I want to draw the fish.
The fish, that's a good idea. And what would you like to draw? A bird, very good. Yep. A goanna. And you can come and have a close look when you're halfway through painting if you like. What would you like to paint?
Probably the fish.
The fish. You can paint the turtle, no problem. And? Very good. Right, now that you've got that idea, you choose red or yellow paint, and we'll get the black brush, and the thing is, I suppose, if you make a mistake, we won't have time to rub it out, so just do the best you can. Okay?
I have very thin black paint and I'm worried that it's too thin. So the thin black paint is here, but these are there and these are newish paintbrushes. So you might have to do like this, but that will make it thick on the cakes. So you have that option. Okay. So what colors?
Take red.
Red. Okay.
And I'm going to have a go of myself.
Okay, so I'll put this in between 2 people. Why don't you move over here? Red or yellow?
Yeah.
Red? Yellow? Okay. And here, what color would you like?
Oh, let's do one too.
Just red and yellow. Go
Yellow.
ahead and choose.
Yellow.
Okay.
Remember, if you want to come over and have a look at this just to remind yourself,
Finish paint.
I'm going to put these books of this girl's just over here.
That one's raised over here. I usually paint standing up. I don't know about you guys,
Right.
but
Well,
it's
actually,
easy
now that
for
while
me.
we think of that, you can do it how you like, up to just
Oh, I really don't mind.
Well, I have a photograph of these guys. They sit on the floor with one leg out and paint on the floor, sitting, and the paint is flat on the floor. I don't think we'll do that today,
No.
but you can do
You
it.
don't get up and down off of the floor.
These guys will
enough in
sit
the
there for
United
hours
States.
just painting. It'll take them. They can do a big painting if the background's done already in 4 hours or so. No radio on or anything like that. Just total silence. Really nice atmosphere. So have a think, and we'll try and draw an animal. I think I might give a fish a go too.
I do have a little bit of music if we wanted to listen to
If you
the
like.
music.
If you
Would
like.
you do? Is that okay?
Yes.
If it's too loud, let me know.
So, well, I might put some of these up
We
here.
usually have music that goes with our
Yeah,
lessons.
music's good. If you want to turn around and have a look at some of these, I'm going to paint the fish because I think it's easiest. Oh, didgeridoo music.
Music
Fantastic.
with our paintings.
And when you've got the outside shape of your animal, fill it all in black.
All painting's so big, I didn't even have to remind you. Yes.
Good, good.
Is that paint working?
Yes,
I can
it
put
is
some more
actually.
the thin paint in if you need it.
Well, I think it's working very well.
Put the paintbrush in there.
In fact, it's really good. What kind of paint is this?
It's tempera paint.
Tempera. What
Yes,
sort of paint
that's
is
what
that?
we have lots of at elementary and
Is
middle
that from a,
school.
is this the stone?
This is a tempera cake, and then all of my paint I've thinned down for another lesson
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
yeah.
You
I
add
was
just
using
water
it.
to it, do you?
I just add water to it, so I just, in this case, I just added some thin paint to thin, yeah, so if you need it thicker, it would be easy to make it thicker.
Look, even the see-through texture, that there's a sense of reality about that too. When you've got paints like this, they don't have to be jet black. It's best to have the outside edge of the, I call it the silhouette of the animal, as straight as possible. But even the artists they're not fussy either.
There's some more paints, looks like somebody needs some more of the liquid.
My pleasure. Thank you for thanking me. It's nice to come into a place like this instead of, I didn't want to be a tourist. And when you think you've got it right, like I'm going to accept this for mine as good enough, all right? So don't overdo it, because we want to try out the finer stuff as well. So as soon as you've done your animal and you've filled it in, painted it in, there's mine. It needs to be as simple as that. And then it needs to dry as well, so you don't have to... Look, they're all looking fantastic. I can see what they are already. Beautiful. Everyone's a painter here.
Oh, they are. This is a great group of artists.
Excellent.
Their portfolios are utterly amazing.
Right. Well, I've kept mine simple, and I'm going to leave it like that just for others to see. And we'll let that dry as well.
So with the thin brushes, we need white. I have
We
that
do. White
ready.
is the next one that we'll need, and we do need the thin brushes.
Yes.
And I might even have a practice on that actually. What I might do while they're filling in
Okay, do you
this,
want to? Yeah.
if you have another piece of paper.
And Percy, do you need more black paint over there? Do you need?
Maybe just a couple drops.
Wanna?
Very much.
That's good. Yeah, you might need more after you start coloring it in. Oh, well, I love that shape.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Fantastic.
Yes. Now you won't even need to have toes on your animal, or fingers, or anything. It doesn't matter if you have. You've already done it. That's fine. But you basically all you really need is just an outlined silhouette. Doesn't matter if you've done it.
I'm guessing with the white paint, you guys, that you do not want to leave the paintbrush sitting down in the paint because
Yes.
it'll be too thick. So you're going to put a paper towel down for you and then put the paintbrushes on the paper towel. So that you'll have that. Put it to the right.
Okay.
How's this? So we'll have this, and then these two. Oops. These two. For this, there you go.
Thank you. I'm going to have a practice over
There we
here.
go. Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So, look at this. I can pick up your painting from Janet. I'm just going to put this underneath. And like that. For your paintbrushes. And then I'll put white there. How's that? Oh my goodness, this is fantastic. Guys. So please do it instead of teaching.
Okay, well, this will work.
Those paintbrushes will work.
They'll work.
And the paint, is
Yes.
the paint a good consistency?
Yes, it's all good.
Yes, it is in between the paintings.
So as soon as you get yours filled in with black, that's the way. Yep, very good. That's the way. What's your name again? Kiana. That's very good, Kiana. That's exactly what I want to see. And this is great. I can see what that is. And yeah. And what I suggest over to Kiana and yourself, if you've got it, can I just show you something? See, that normally in art, these lines they look great, but if you can make them like that, then it's going to help us keep those. We're going to do a white outline like that. You see what I'm trying to do? But they even do it themselves. They don't do it sometimes themselves, but that's good. Keep going. Wonderful. Make the outside edge line as clear as you can. That's a beauty. I love it.
That's nice.
All right.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but your name?
Grace.
Gracie. That's very good, Gracie. Now, fill it all in as quick as you can, okay? And then we're going to let it sit just for a minute. That's all good. You're finished, right?
Yeah.
That's plenty good. Try filling in that little bit on the legs here or whatever, and then you'll be finished. We have to move. I've got my eye on the clock, but we'll be going okay. Of course, like there's no end to this. You can put in, well, you could put in a lifetime because these people do.
After we're done with like these paintbrushes, what do we do from them?
You give them to your teacher or me. There you go. Thank you.
Gracie, did you need this thicker brush so you can go faster? It's up to you.
I'll tell you what, I can help you too, all right? Is that okay?
Yeah.
I'll do this part here.
Excellent. Okay. Perfect. And then I can do this then.
Then we just need to colour it in, which is an easy job.
Would the Aborigines artists help one another
Do they help one another?
on their paintings, or is it something that they do solo?
Well, generally they do, but they do help each other as well. I've seen them, like if there's a job like I'm doing here now, yes, they'll help each other.
Painting there. This says more. Oh, boys and girls.
Maybe a bit more water.
This is Miss Sizemore.
Nice to meet you
So,
all.
yes, she's an artist and an educator and a grandma.
And a grandma.
A mommy first, and then a grandma.
I'm a grandpa too.
So we're art buddies. So
All right, now let's get this filled in. Okay, that is perfect. So's that. All right. Look, I'm very impressed. I'm not kidding. If I had have known how good you guys were, I might have been scared to come in here, actually. Now, we'll let that sit and we'll have a talk about what we're going to do. That's finished. Yes. There's the brush. Now, the next part they do, and I'll have a picture here and show you. Take this picture out. Right. There's what he's done, this painting. That's Alex, actually. That's the man who's in the book as well. Now, he's painted his background in black on a red background. See that? Just like yours. See? So it's looking real already. Now, just notice, he's got the next bit he's got is a fine brush, which is a piece of reed, where we're going to use a brush that starts to paint around the outside. He started to paint down the arm of this person. He's painting a person there. You have a look there. See what he's doing? See the white brush? So the very first thing you're going to do, and I will show you how they do it. So you know what the next step is now. We're going to go around it, and I've done a little bit on this one. What they do, is that they get their fine brush in there and they always paint away from themselves. But they're able to paint very, very fine lines, and once we do this ourselves we'll go back and have a look at the picture. But generally speaking, they'll get it on whatever angle it is and push away like that until the paint runs out. Then they go back and they'll do it again. You never paint, whoops, the brush, you've got to make it as fine as you possibly can, and you're not going to perfect it in one sitting, and eventually you might even come up with a finer brush, or even a reed perhaps. But you always, he might turn it around to get it right, he pushes it away from himself all the time. Very good question. I've got 77 paintings and only one of them was done by a woman. Okay, and I think that traditionally the women didn't paint because they also make beautiful baskets and we make those dilly bags are all made by the women out of reeds and grass. So, and that's the traditional women's job. And in the tradition in the Aborigines, there is a woman's job and there's a man's job, and there's no in between. That's just the way they've been. So try doing that, going around your outline. Of course, you see how that's not the best job once you have a look at what they can do, and then do it yourself and try. And then once you do that, you go all the way around. Put in a dot for the eye. So I'm going to now go around all of my fish around the outside. And we're going to try and get this done before 12 o'clock. So just paint a white line, all as thin as you possibly can, and you just have to practice. So when you start, there'll be patches that won't be thin and patches that will be, and that sort of stuff. You're not going to perfect it today, but the way you guys are going, I might be wrong. I could well be wrong as I look around the table. I might end up being the only one who is right. I beg your pardon?
Are we going to need yellow paint today or not?
Yes, we are, and we're going to need some red, but not near as much as the black.
Okay, okay.
Very good. Now, what was your name again, please? Will. Okay, I'll show you something. Will. If you're going to turn it around, twist it around, and with your brush like this, push it away. And try and make this a line like that. See the difference? Right, now you put it back in. And hold it. See how I'm doing it like that. In fact, that's the way to do it. That's the way. Yeah. Brush it out like that. That's the way. Fantastic. One long stroke, not little strokes, just one slow, long stroke. No, we twist it around. One long, slow stroke until you can see the paint running out. Very good. Turn it around again. Dip it in there. Yep. Yes. Okay. Keep. That's it. Now don't stop next time. Dip it in again. Slowly come up all the way around here. Yeah. That's it. That's not as easy. You're getting around the fins there, so you can do that the way you like. Good. When you get up to here, make them long, slow strokes. Yes. Right, so everybody is painting around the outside of their animal. Now, Miss Discepolli, while you're here, we might all stop in a moment because I'm looking at the clock and we're going to get into the raft without completing everything so that you know how they can complete it when I'm not here, all right? So if you put these yellows down on wherever you've got, yes, there, and then get a couple of more reds. You've got them. Is that enough yellow? You've got, if you get those two yellows and bring them over here, and then we'll talk about the next stage.
Okay.
Thank you.
Some fresh paint brushes too.
Oh, good.
So we won't have to.
Because we're not going to get it all finished, but we're going to go through the whole stages of what needs to be done.
We can finish them on Monday,
Yes.
perhaps.
Now, all right, now you did hear me say that we're not going to get it completed today. So, what I'd like you to do is do one more stroke of white and then just stop. Please. All right, stop. Now I'm going to show you quickly what I'd like you to do next. Now mine, I've got white outline all around. The work I'm looking here is absolutely perfect and fantastic. What we want to do next, what the next stage is you can do, you can make it a little bit alive and real. Say this fish, if you look up at that fish up there, now I'm going to put in one dot for the eye, see? And what I'll also do, so just don't do that yourself yet until I just show you a couple of things. What I will do here, I will put in this mouth, alright, and then I'll come back here, like that. So there's the mouth. Now, this animal has a fin down here, so I'm going to draw this fin in here, like that. And in fact, I could draw a couple of fins in there, but I don't have time now. Now, we could also, what he's done is he's drawn with your animal, say near the neck, for example, you could draw 2 little lines across, something like that. You have a look at the neck on the fish. He's got 3 lines. You could do 2 little lines like that. You could do the same. I'm on my fish, I'm going to put a little, it's like collar. And so what we're doing here is that we're breaking our animal up into sections. Alright, so there's a bit of reality coming in here now. And I'm just going to break this up into sections here. Like that. Using the white. So that's what you can do now. Put some eyes or a mouth, like I've done. You can cut the neck and make a collar out of it, even if it's a snake or a tortoise. And then I'm going to divide the middle piece up, my middle piece up, into sections. And we're going to leave some just black. But we're going to look into what's the most unique thing about this art style is what they call the rack, or the cross-hatching. And you know, there are videos that you can buy online too, from the Injaluk organisation, the Arts Cooperative in Gumbalanya, Western Arnhem Land. Videos of the artists actually painting and being interviewed and showing them painting there. So it's easily accessible on the internet to look at it and to buy videos as well. And I can forward that, like links to that if you like, via email to you as well too. Okay. Now, yeah, very good. Break it up into sections. That's the way. There, I would put a line across there to break that up into sections.
Can we do that like downward?
Yes, yes, you can do whatever you like. Give it a try. Very good.
That one. Seamless.
Yep. So that's what I want to see. I want to see it. That's very good. All right. Okay, now I would like everyone to stop except you, and you just get your sections right, because everyone, oh well, over here you could do a couple of more sections across the middle of that animal. It's a fish, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, all right, put a line down the middle, I suggest, and you could do the same too. One down there and one across there.
They're drawing the vertebrae, the stem of life or something? Is that,
They can. There's a part of the style is they call it an X-ray style. Often they'll paint what's inside the animal as well, what the animal has been eating.
Or is that next?
No, we still need to keep the white.
Okay.
Right, so let's everybody stop where we are. What we've done now is you've divided it into sections. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to do the rack style in these 4 sections. So I'd like you to choose 4 sections as well. Everybody I can see has got 4 sections. Find 4 sections. Now what we're going to do with the white again, and it's very difficult with this brush because look how fine those lines are, and they've done with a reed. You know, that guy there in the middle with the snake, he's a very fine painter. His skill is incredible. But it doesn't mean that if you paint thicker that you don't have the fine skills as well. But what we're going to do with this one now in the 4 sections is that I'm going to cover that in with lines, so all going that angle, but then here they're going to go that angle, and here that angle, and here the opposite angle. So find 4 sections and paint each section with a white. This is the beginning of the rack, so it's still white on black.
Do you remember when we did the brushwork? Guys, how you hold your paintbrush like that? Because these have really fine hairs at the end.
Yes.
So just get the paint
And
on the tip.
but we're doing well for our first trial, for
Oh,
sure.
they're spectacular. Beautiful
Yes,
techniques.
that's
Oh,
right. Like, you look at me
excellent.
here, what I'm doing. You know, and then try and do it in one stroke and as fine as you possibly can. It's not easy. So you do all the lines in one section parallel with each other, and then you do them in another section at a different angle.
Oh, that looks like a ribbon. I love that.
Yeah, just because there's a
Very own technique.
my very own
An
accidental
original.
technique.
An original size one.
I've got some French experiments that I'd like to bring in, but they weren't big enough. They were too big to fit in my bag. But I can bring them in and leave them here and have them, and that'll be something for the kids to be able to look at as well in the future. So I'll pop those in by next week. So what we're doing here with your white, when you've filled up one square area, then go into another one at a different angle, and this is the first layer of the rack style.
I demonstrate here.
Would you like me to demonstrate to you? Yeah. If I were you now, I would go that way. All right? And fill it up all in that angle. That's the way. And it's always, like, when I used to watch them paint, they would turn their painting around. You'll see on the bottom of their, on the other side of their paintwork, there's always a lot of ink because they slide this around to get it away, always paint away from themselves. And I'm sorry, but I forgot your name again.
She's
Yeah.
used to me doing
No, that's really good, but what you need to, that's all good. You need to paint, get them in, go back and paint an extra couple of lines in between there as well, okay? And you get them as close as you possibly can.
those cookies, but Mr. Discepolli told me they were good. Are they good? Should I share them?
You'll make it. You have to
Adult
make
cookies.
it in time.
I said they were better than vanilla wafers. Are they better than vanilla wafers?
Vanilla wafers.
Very good. Very good. For a second, because yours is going so well. Just remember, I'll say, if you try and have it away from yourself, alright, it does work better. These guys have been doing it for so long, they found the best techniques, you know? So now put the lines on there. Your lines are far better than mine. Alright? That's a lovely magpie voice there. That, so we'll do this for another 5 minutes like this. So. All right, we're nearly ready to go into the next stage. If you want to, no, actually, leave, you could do the outline of the neck. You haven't done that yet. You can do that, but leave the neck and the legs. We're going to leave the neck and the legs, or the tail, in this case the tail and the head, with just black. So we're not going to complete the whole thing, but we're going to go through every process. So in fact, I think I'll ask everybody to stop now. Thank you. First of all, that's Alex again, sitting there. Notice how he's sitting on the floor. He cuts the bottom off a Coke can and just puts his ink in there. There's his reeds. And he picks it up and he's painting that bit there. And now, this is a different guy, but he's now going into the raft with his reed. and he's getting that very, very fine. He's also painted the leaves, the leaves of the lilies black with the fish. He did all of that first, and then he's going around. Well, some of them painted the outside, he hasn't. But what we're going to do now, we're going to look up here, because you've done the first layer of the rack style, and that's the white lines across the black in different angles. And we're going to keep 4 quarters just for today. And we'll have a look here, and you'll see, if you just turn around, you'll see in each one of these paintings it's divided up like that. Here's the fish, and here's 4 quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's a turtle, and it's in 4 quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the inside of the turtle, that's its spine. Sometimes they paint babies in there, or they paint other fish or animals that they've been eating as well. This one, that's broken up into 4 sections as well. You can look at it like this. 1, good catch. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're similar over there. But what we're going to look at this, you've got 4 quarters. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now underneath that, the first layer was black. The second layer was just fine lines going at a different angle. In this one they're going up that way. In this one they're going down this way. In this one they're going down this way, and in this one they're going up this way. Now the last layer is going to come on, and we still use the white, but we also use a red and a yellow. So this time the red will go, or it might be a good idea to start with the white again perhaps. And what he's done is cut that in the middle. He's gone white across white, which was on black, very finely. And then he's done it at a different angle there, and then he's done it at a different angle there, and then at that angle. So it was white lines across white lines on black. Here, he'll then take the red and he'll paint the red line on top across the white lines on black. There, just up from there to there in one stroke. Then he's done it at a different angle here, and at the same angle there, and then this is the same angle there. Then he's gone to the yellow across the white lines on black. So we have white on black, red on white on black, and yellow on white on black. And if we can get a little bit of red and a little bit of yellow and a little bit of white done now, you'll actually reach the final stage of painting, even though it won't be completed, but you'll be able to go ahead and do it another time too. Yes?
Boys and girls, boy and girls. Do you guys have field first and then lunch? Is this your field time?
No,
Pardon? Cut club now and then lunch after that? So you go to lunch, and do you guys want to stay? Because I have a class coming in at 1, but we should be good if you want to continue.
All right,
Do you
so,
have to go?
all right.
All right, if you have to go ahead and just leave your paintbrush
Yep.
where it is.
Yep.
And put your painting over there, and I'll see if my novice Aborigine self can help you on Monday.
All right, nice to see you.
It's 11:40.
Emma?
Thank you.
My pleasure, and good luck.
Wait, what
Good
time
luck
is
with
it?
all your busy activities at school.
What time is it? It's 11:40.
It's
Oh,
11.
it's 11.
Yeah.
Oh,
We have lunch.
see? I'm jumping the gun.
Okay.
Do you think that Will should start with another color already?
If he likes, I think that would be a good idea to give it a try. Yes, yes, certainly.
With yellow first?
Yes,
or
that'd be
red?
good. Yellow would
Yellow.
look good in there, especially with the red background.
Yeah. Maybe some plastic, I don't want you to lose what you have. It's
No.
a beautiful painting. You have to have this framed. just wipe that off and set it down on a paper towel. Yeah, I think we're ready for the next step. And then next week, maybe we can go ahead and put your backgrounds in your forward. Do you think that would be okay, Mr. Conway? for next
Absolutely,
week?
that's the
Look
right
at the
thing to do,
pictures,
for sure.
okay.
So that's great.
Yeah, I guess you want to go diagonal across, because you don't want it to blend in. There we go. Well, see, this section diagonal that way, and then this section diagonal that way. You get all 4 sections are a different direction. Remember? Yeah, that's perfect. Good, just kind of crisscross them, crisscross that way, and then just stop. Oops, I'm sorry, stop right here, and then do it a different direction over there. Kind of like in Native American, you know, they do everything in the 4 directions, north, east, west, and south. It reminds me of that. I wonder
Right.
if it has any
Yeah,
grounding in the Native American here that you're doing.
Or if they have the same
Similar
concept
to
of the
that.
directions.
I wonder. Yes. Yeah, while you're waiting to ask, go ahead and do this and then we'll ask. I can share the pictures that I get, and
oh,
I'm
okay.
hoping that this will be up on YouTube. They're wonderful about doing
Right.
that, so send you a link to a YouTube. Boy, aren't we technical. Keep your lines so it's kind of crisscross. Do these that direction. Use this direction. Kind of like a V. Like if you're going to do here, a V, I think.
Yeah, that's the
Do you
way.
Just take it to that way and V.
All right, now that's a good one. Fantastic.
Is she ready for another color?
Yes, she is. So I think you know what to do next. So then you'll find a yellow or a red and you'll fill another one section in.
Minutes of footage to YouTube, but you can't draw and everybody wants to watch that.
No.
Perfect.
Absolutely. Here's the paintbrush for yellow. So we don't have to worry about having the paintbrushes too wet. I think that, you know, sure that they're reeds.
This is some friends.
A crosshatch in the opposite direction. So see how you have kind of a tic-tac-toe there, and another like 4 directions. Kind of like,
Yes.
let's see if we can look at the masters. Oh, see?
Yes, that's right. And yes,
See how it's
that's
the
right.
white that
Think
direction
in
and
separate
it's
areas, such as maybe
the
here,
opposite direction.
here, and there, and there. And then you can do the red there, and maybe red here.
You go like that direction, and then as long as it's the opposite direction. A crisscross, like you did this, the same kind of pattern. Just do yellow on top of the white. Create a pattern just like that. Like you could do, well, you could go V, or you could just do that section and this section. Look up here, because this is what I'm seeing. If you're doing alternate sides, so you could go there and here and then there. So you get to look it up. Yeah, but
It makes me appreciate the paintings even more when you try to do
isn't
this
it
yourself.
something?
You know.
We have our calligraphers from Japan
Oh,
come in, and
really?
we practice every year, but we're humbled every year when
Wow.
they come and work with us.
That must
Aren't
be a
we?
great experience
Oh, it
to
is.
have that.
We've been doing that since 2009.
Have you?
And sometimes we have different artists. Last year we had a taiko drummer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So do you have a good Japanese connection?
We had a sister city.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
Our
what
sister
city is
city.
that?
And it's an exchange of artists.
Yes. What is the city?
Hokuto City,
Ah, I
in
don't
the
know.
mountains,
Okay.
right outside of Tokyo. It's in the
Well, no, you went to Japan with the mayor.
Mm-hmm, he did,
Yeah.
yes,
And
to
was-
Hokkaido City,
Oh.
as a part of this exchange, yes,
Okay.
yes. Oh, Maurice, you are an expert at this. It just comes naturally to you. Look at that. Aren't they wonderful?
So, and I'd like to see everybody have a try with their red. Thank you very much.
There should be a couple
I'm
of
sure there will be.
Yeah, I
Make me
have
very
no
proud.
idea how you're holding the paintbrush like that and getting such beautiful lines. Those are absolutely technically perfect. So I'll just set out the red and set out 2 more paintbrushes. How's that? It has returns paint. These itty paintbrushes. Oh wow. Well, you are ready. That is absolutely amazing. Yeah, just see this one. See what I'm talking about. So
Okay.
yellow is
Oh,
the name.
yeah.
You got it. Oh, look at that, Emma. That's like beautiful. Yeah, I don't think you're finished with the yellow. You don't have to start like that. Don't get the line control. Now that they're cross-hatching, they have such dimension.
Yes. And most often they include, as I said, an external object like a plant or a tool bag or there's other animals sometimes that's just full. And of course they have water spirits and they're spirits that live in the water and they will have stories behind them. And there's mythological characters and there's two women in particular called Mirakai and Likanaya and they're sisters. And they live in the water, but they have tails like mermaids. And when you get into that, well, I just chose the fish for today, the animals for today. But there's a famous one is called the Mimi spirit, and they live in the water. And there's a famous man. He was a bad man. He was called Bilk. And the women killed him because he was bad. But from that murder came to didgeridoo without elaborating any further. And that's the true mythological story. And I have paintings on Bilk as well. And there's lots. I'll show you some other, and there are some fascinating things. There's one that's very unique, and that's it's a beautiful drawing of a crocodile. See, there's the sisters in the water there. And this man, he's got
1,
fish
2,
and
3, 4 in the
crocodile.
directions.
But there's one
So you
here.
could do a cross hatch here, cross hatch here, cross hatch here, and then
That's
cross
Bilk
hatch
there.
there. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4.
And there's a magpie goose with its eggs. But he's the legend behind the didgeridoo. This is Lightning Man, Nana God. And this is where he was struck down. Lightning in the Northern Territory is just absolutely fascinating and scary at times. And there's another one. And there's a one with the kangaroo. This one here is called diarrhea dreaming. That's what it's called. And that says if you eat this plant, that's what will happen to you.
So we're passing on knowledge.
Passing on knowledge, yes, on what not to eat. And this one is extremely unique in my view too, because it's not a good photograph here, but the Raak style is totally, it's the only one that's unique to all the others. These are red, yellow and white. This was all just white and red and a coarse different style of Raak altogether. And I said to him, I said, what's this? And he just said, that's old style. And And all the paintings I saw on the cave walls were like
Were like
this.
that?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
And this is a mythological creature with
Yes,
a
with the
fish
tail.
head and a...
Yes, that's right.
Do you have manatees over there? Do you think that's where...
Have so that,
Manatees, which are...
oh, an animal in the water.
Mhm.
Well, no. What is that? What sort of animal is that?
it's a mammal that lives in the water, and they call it sea fowl.
Yes, well, on the east coast of Australia, we have it's called a dugong, which is an Aboriginal word.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's
it
a
eats off the grass off the bottom. It's sort of a suction vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
Nose.
Yes,
It's a dugong. And the Aborigines are still, they are allowed to hunt them to this day. But I'm just looking for one that I think is, I showed you the diarrhea dreaming, and that's the lightning man again. These are women who are in the caves or in the water. I'll just try and find this. In fact, I know what number it is. It's a very old one. It should be here somewhere. It's a crocodile. There's the two sisters of the even they've got Maracay buildings in Darwin, named after one of these mythological sisters. So there's a big influence in the whole series. Maracay units. Let's see what I can find. Yeah.
It'd be great to take some of these photographs and make more PowerPoint presentations.
We've, well, I can send you a copy of them. I've got them where they're sort of, they're not for printing of course, but I can send you the collection. Here it is here. Now, that is a very beautiful drawing in itself by this guy. This is glossy jewelry. But, for the first time ever, all these leaves, these water lilies, are connected to the roots, wherever you look, except for this painting. And I said to him, what's with this? Where's the root? He said, well, the crocodile is swimming through the water and he's broken off all the water lilies.
So that shows emotion.
Yes.
Movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
action in your artwork.
now I'm going to just quickly finish this. Wow, looking around here, fantastic. We've achieved what we've set out to do. That's what I like. And I'm determined to finish this as well within the next 2 minutes. Now, so not only did it take these artists a lifetime to do their work, to become good at it, it took thousands of years for them to be able to develop it and get it all done, have it evolve. Yes. You are allowed to do whatever comes to your mind. Like what? Well, you absolutely do that right now. If you've got time, just add whatever you like to do, because that's where you put in your own input as well. You just get the ideas from these people.
20 after my first year in hospital. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we also have go through sweet young men on the same day. I do, I do. And I call them each other's name all of the time.
Not that they like it, but they use it.
Well, they both have it. Right. Well, for me it is.
That's
So,
perfect. You might even put a little tongue or two little tongues out there, you know what I'm saying, like a snake. But they're all good.
You know, I don't do that, but I.
Well, we've achieved.
I just always, look at them and know the family.
I'm sure they're correct.
They do, right away.
Let's see. Did you give me the same one?
Okay, you know what I'm gonna do before you guys put these on a drying rack is take a picture of you holding it up, just
like
the
he's
way they did.
Yep.
And then finish. But we'll work on these and we can put the foliage and everything in next week after the details. And these are utterly spectacular. You're gonna have to get, this is 18 by 24 paper. Tell your parents you need a frame. So you're definitely going to need a picture frame. Oh, nice. I'm excited. Beautiful paintings.
Well, there we go. And I'm sure we'd all improve the more we paint on them too. It's the only way, isn't it?
Well, and it's the best you can do today.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow you're going to do better.
But look, I'm very impressed already by,
It's beautiful.
yes, fantastic. And I think I'll send some of these photographs back to Australia and they'll know that the traditional work is being passed on to the US as well.
Spectacular.
See?
I'm sure you'll be happy about that.
So, I'll read you more
Okay. If you're finished and you want to just stand up and hold your picture, and I'll get your photograph with your painting. Or if you want to be the first, and then you can put it on the drying mat. And next week we'll go into it to the next stage. Oops, and rectitude. It's okay, we'll just put them both over here. These are all right. The artist in his work. You smell like a happy
That's right. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. What I'll do is I'll practice it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one that game.
So I've got some that are not collected, so I'll bring them in, I'll drop them in the teaching here, the teaching here.
If you're finished, you can pick up your brushes and just sit them in the sink and I'll wash them.
Relocate here.
Pushing the chairs. It isn't time to go yet, so we can have some cleanup time and some talking time. Oh, that is breathtaking. Okay. And you can take one of these at a time and sit them over there on the